Welcome back to UndocuStartup. If you're new here, my name is Juan Hernandez and I'm the founder of Prepare, and I run entrepreneurship programs for undocumented students. Now, one of the things that I've always wanted to do is I want to have a weekly check-in with you all on my podcast, on my YouTube channel, just sharing some of the lessons that I learned in the previous week, because every single Monday I do check in with myself. I write, on my iPad, I write down what are some of the things that I accomplished, what are some of the things that that were challenging, and I write some lessons from the previous week. So that's what I'm going to start doing.
Welcome to UndocuStartup by Juan Maya Hernandez.
But just for context, this is week 5 for me of Q1 of this year. So I'm going to start here. I do have previous lessons, but there's no point in me looking back and recording everything. So that's just some context. All right. So lesson number 1 is that health equals wealth. You guys may not know this, but for the past 3 weeks, I was sick. The past 2 weeks, I injured my shoulder. So this shoulder was actually hurting when I would do this, and most recently, I squished my finger. You guys can't actually see this, but I actually squished my finger on the door. Nothing else matters right now than my shoulder getting fixed. Nothing else matters than my thumb getting fixed. Nothing else mattered when I was sick than to get better over the sickness. So moving forward, one of the things that I do want to prioritize is, just making sure that I eat better, making sure that I sleep well, making sure that my mental health is great, making sure that I do not get injured, and hopefully, in the future, I don't run into those problems, because when I run into those problems, I'm just not able to be al 100. I'm not able to be, what I'm usually at in terms of work ethic. So that is lesson number 1, and I hope you guys take away that one for sure. Lesson number 2 is that entrepreneurship is lonely, but it is okay. Learn how to deal with it. Okay. While I was injured, I actually felt the loneliest I've ever felt in a long time. And I think it comes from, not having a significant other. I think it comes from that sometimes entrepreneurship, like I mentioned, in a previous video, is that sometimes you're up here, sometimes you're down here, sometimes you're up here, down here, boom, boom, boom. It's like that for a long time. And the truth about it is, no one is going to understand you. No one's going to understand the grind. No one wants the company to succeed as much as you do, but there's always ways to sort of mitigate that, right? So can you find somebody, a buddy that you can check in with whenever you're having these situations? Things that I started doing now that my shoulder is feeling better, my thumb is feeling better, is I started going to go run again. It's one of those things that helps me a lot. Right now, I can't go to the gym because I don't want to put a lot of force on my shoulder. But yeah, there's just ways to always solve for that loneliness. And it doesn't happen to me a lot, but I think as the company scales, as everything continues, I want to make sure that I have a plan to mitigate that whenever that comes around, right? So that was lesson number 2. Lesson number 3 is connected to the previous one, but exercise helps with mental health, right? When I was the most depressed at UCLA during my undergrad years, it was because I stopped exercising, and I realized that I pretty much grew up playing soccer. I pretty much grew up being outside. I pretty much grew up, talking to different people. And whenever I am not doing those things, I get sad, or I deal with mental health challenges. Especially with entrepreneurship, it's always go. But I wanna just take it back to when I've been at my highest. Is because I constantly exercise. Is because I constantly try to get out of my shell and meet new people and connect, because that's who I am, by nature. So one of the things that I just been prioritizing is, I want to make sure I prioritize 3 to 4 times a week still right now, even though I'm recovering from this shoulder injury. I want to make sure that I still make time for that, because it's important to me, and it helps me with my mental health first and foremost. All right. Lesson number 4 is to focus on the first goal first, and then the next one. All right. I think a lot of the times, I do have a number in mind on how big this company I want to get, but I need to understand that I need to go through the fundamentals first. I need to understand how to go from what I did last year to this year, beat myself on my biggest competition, right? I first need to beat myself first, and get the foundations right before I start thinking about, the $1 million company that I do want to build one day. And I think right now I'm in a position where this year I'll be able to do more programs, be able to get more impact, be able to get more feedback, And I think right now I'm okay with where I'm at, because eventually I'll get to the point where I understand everything. I understand different markets, and that is going to help me get to the millions where I want to be. But focusing on where I'm at right now is the most important thing, and not really focus on where I could be in the next 2-3 years, because I don't want to lose sight of what I have in front of me and the opportunities that I have in front of me, right? Lesson number 5 is to not overthink and to just launch, right? I've been having this idea for a sponsor program for a long time, and I'm finally ready to take it into the market. There's a lot of unknowns. I don't know a lot of stuff, but what I do know is that my goal is to do 40 programs this year, and by introducing a sponsor program, I'll get to the point where I'm doing it more often. And if this works, I'll be able to do 2, 3, 4, 5 programs a month, which is a goal of mine. So I am able to make the impact that I want to do from last year, right? So if last year we helped 10 students get their first client, get their first funding, how about we help 100 students this year? And I think it's going to come with time. It's going to come with hard work. But most importantly, let's decrease, let's not overthink as much, and let's just launch the program. So key takeaway here is don't overthink on a bunch of stuff. Just look at what's in front of you and then launch what you got to do. Do what you can with what you have, and keep moving forward. Lesson number 6 is to reduce the time of completion. All right. So I think one of my biggest problems is that I lay off things too much towards the end of the week, towards Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I want to stop doing that. So one of the things that I want to start doing is to reduce the time of completion of any task that I do. So that means instead of spending 1 week to complete a task, how about I just reduce it to 1 day, right? And this really just comes from a framework that I saw in a video very recently that talks about, like, if your life depended on it, or if a family member was going through something really important health-wise, and you had to find a way to make $1 million, you would probably find a way, right? So I think if I put myself in a mental framework that allows me to challenge myself, that allows me to step out of my comfort zone, and I want to do that, right? So if I think a task is going to take me 1 week, what about I do something that is only going to take me 1 day, right? So that's another key lesson. All right. So the 6 lessons for this week are: 1, health equals wealth. Number 2, entrepreneurship is lonely. It's okay. Find a way to mitigate that. Number 3, exercise helps with mental health. So make sure you exercise if you're dealing with any form of mental health issues. Number 4, focus on what's in front of you first. Number 5, don't overthink, just launch. And number 6, reduce the time of completion. All right. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoy these check-ins for the week. Again, these are just meant to be lessons that I can look back on, but I'm hoping that you guys also find it helpful. But if anything, if you have anything you want me to talk about in future episodes, go ahead and leave it in the comment sections below. And with that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you find this helpful. Okay. And remember, be motivated and stay motivated, baby. Bye-bye.
Welcome to UndocuStartup by Juan Maya Hernandez.